thing I have not been able to find in this service manual is a diagram of the fuse block. Usually it's printed on the bottom side of the fuse cover, but guess what? The fuse cover is missing. I think I found one on Google. I bought a bunch of spade fuses and also got some brand new stainless steel hardware to replace the stuff that I took out. Been out here working for over 2 hours on the wiring for the backhoe. Happened to get a phone call from my dad, and it was fun to chat with him for a little while. Got to swap backhoe stories, which was kind of fun. So while I was on the phone with him, I worked on getting all of the fuses replaced and got them put back to factory specs. No revelations, nothing changed. Darn it. I was hoping I would get lucky and suddenly things would just start working. While I was on the phone with my dad, I was kind of tinkering with some of the wiring up here on the rear work lights. And I removed a total of 3 bird's nests, one in each of these 3 holes. In fact, there's still one in there. Guess I didn't get that one all. Wow. Oh gosh. Look at all the feathers. Took these 2 lights, which were working, and I plugged the harnesses for the outer lights into these power leads, and all 4 of those lights are operational. I've been out here deep under the hood and using my manual, and I've finally narrowed things down to a small harness that gets power and then powers either the inside, outside, or both sets of rear lights. And then I started trying to figure out why they're not working. I do have power here, but for some reason that power is not getting to the lights. I've checked for voltage up here at these wires which power the lights, and there's no voltage up here, which is odd. So I checked for continuity down here to make sure that the switch is working correctly. I bridged from this red wire terminal to this one, operated the switch, everything's good, then did it on here, operated the switch, everything's good. So I know my switch is working fine. Checked for continuity from this wire all the way to the light, and guess what? There's no continuity. So somewhere between this harness and the switch, something is disconnected. Finally located the wire in this harness. I checked for continuity from the harness to the switch, and everything is good. No continuity from this harness up to the lights. So now I'm going to try to remove this work cover here to see if maybe there's an access panel in there and I can see those harnesses where they come up. No such luck. Looks like that harness is pretty hidden in there. If you want to know what hard is, try wearing a headlamp and a head cam all at the same time. I'm sort of making progress because I found out that this blue and white wire, which is what operates the outer driving lights, it turns out, in the rear, is operated from the front driving light switch, not from that work light switch. Kind of taking this harness apart to just see if it's something I can clean up and maybe check the switch for continuity, see if it's in good condition. And check a couple of these harnesses just to see. It looks like the emergency flashers work, so I know that that button works, as does this harness. The one that I'm worried about is this guy. I've traced it back finally and found the problem, and it's gonna have to be a pretty substantial repair. This 25 amp fuse is what powers the running lights and all that stuff. The fuse block looks like it's been melted. So if we can get the fuse block replaced, maybe we'll get our front work lights working. But I did discover through this process that the switch that is working actually powers 2 lights in the rear and 2 lights in the front. And then the front switch powers the other 2 lights in the front and the other 2 lights in the rear. That helps me get to look at 2 lights in the front and figure out why those lights aren't working, which are powered by the switch that has power. So maybe, just maybe, we'll get a little bit of light tonight. I hope. It's getting late. Well, that explains why these lights aren't working. Yeah, looks like it's just kind of a farmer wiring, kind of crimp connectors, and got some bare wires up here, so that may explain the shorted fuse. I know I can get these working once I get the fuse block replaced, but I really just want a couple of lights in the front. Something would help. Before I go through all that work though, I'm just gonna validate my theory that this wire connects to that. Look at that, we got voltage. So that means we probably have voltage here too. Yes, we do. All right, so maybe if we can get a couple of lights right here, we're in business. Been working pretty hard. I got actually just scabbed on an extension to this light. Turn off this light. Yeah. If everything's done correctly, this switch should give us 2 lights in the back and 2 lights in the front. So it's off. Oh, so there's 2 lights in the front. Hey, hey.
Business up front, party in the back?
Business up front.
Or party in the front, party in the back.
Check
too.
it out. Business in the back. Wait for it. Boom.
Nice.
Lights all around. It's not perfect, but
Improvement.
we now have lights in the front and the back, so you don't have to back the backhoe up in the darkness. Coming along. I've just taken 2 things off my list and added 5. The good news is we now have lights in the front of the backhoe. So if it snows 6 feet tomorrow,
Good.
I don't have to plow by Milwaukee.
Got out of my comfy clothes
Yeah,
and my bedtime clothes to come see your progress.
not bad for one day. Considering I was thinking, I'll probably just tinker with the backhoe. Maybe the horn will work.
Does it have a horn?
Supposedly, although I found it in there and it's disconnected. I'm not a big fan of leaving things undone, but I've got to leave all these gauges and stuff kind of.
And it's like 11. It's past 11.
It's 11 o'clock?
Yeah.
Wow. It's amazing what light does. Been working on the backhoe again for a little while this evening. I had an idea, I think I shared it yesterday, but actually executed it. This fuse actually operates the standard work lights on the unit, and it was fried. Today I went and got a separate inline fuse holder. Was able to remove the wires from the back end, and this wire over here was mega scorched. I popped off all these covers and double checked the wiring here. I had to add a couple of bullet connectors to this light, and I got lucky. The outside light here was already in good wiring condition. Everything should work. So let's turn it on. And let's flip so this is actually the lights in the front. So that gives us front work lights. Actually, these are driving lights. Ouch, I just bashed my head. So that gives us the front driving lights. This one over here gives us the working lights. So now we have 4 lights on the front, which is exciting. And then we turn it again, we get 2 driving lights in the rear, which is super exciting. And they all work. So this is progress. And then of course, the switch over here gives us lights in the rear too. So now we have 4 lights in the rear. So I also looked locally in 3 different spots for LED work lights, but I wanted to get all the lights working first because swapping the lights out won't be hard at all. Just switching to LEDs, I'm pretty confident will drop the drain on the system and probably will just lighten the load on everything. Well, that sucks. The rain is starting again. Well, it looks like that one's a failure. Let's try a different one. Maybe. No luck on that one either. I don't know if these screw extractors just don't have enough bite or what. But we're a 0 for 0. I think our hour meter light even works. Oh, look at that! We have lights to our gauges, even though it's very poor. Would you look at that? Wonder if that comes on when you turn that on. It sure does. So now, when I turn on the front driving lights, the gauge cluster lights up. It's not very bright, but you can at least see if you're gonna run out of gas. I'm proud of you, backhoe. I'm proud of you. It's good to have your lights working. I look forward to when we can put LEDs on and we can actually see what we're doing.